Okay, go ahead.
All right, I'm calling the July 11th, 2025 Economic Development, Historic Preservation, and Environmental Conservation Committee meeting to order. We do not have any, I'll take attendance. We have Trish Bergami, we have Laura Robertson, we have me. And that's, I'm gonna put you on there anyway, even if you're not looking.
Talk is online.
And
That's it. Yep.
No members of the public. Do we have anybody that received any public concerns?
I didn't get any as of last night.
I've had a handful of you guys have probably already had these calls, but a handful of people reaching out about people not mowing. But I assume it's because of the
There's a couple that we get calls on every couple of days. Actually, they are in the process of the town mowing them, but that takes a long time because you have to get like 3 quotes and yeah. So they'll probably be mowed in another 2 weeks or so. There's one on Myria, I think. There's a couple other ones.
I don't know if that's the one. No, I don't have a skeleton too. They keep getting called now.
That's not on Almeria.
It's the corner of.
Are we mowing that one too?
I don't think we can anymore. There's too much stuff in the back.
Okay, well, if you get those addresses, just send them to us.
Yeah,
we'll double check
most
them.
of the ones that actually I shouldn't say that. 2 of the 3. The third one I think I sent over to. Oh no, we already talked about it. I'm thinking of CVS.
Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah,
so I sent them that.
And then the other 2, I had messages back that they had like either like the next day or like 2 days later.
talked to us.
So I assume they were out of town or something.
Yeah.
That's the only outreach I can.
Yeah. I don't have anything extra this morning.
Okay, great. We're going to table the minutes for next meeting when we have a quorum. And we've got a decent list of resolutions, but that's nothing else for action. So we will run through these.
Yeah. So I sent the resume out to everyone yesterday. There's a person who would like to join the tree council. His name is Cliff Road. He came to the Community Day of Service and planted trees with us in the absolute pouring rain. And he still wanted to come back. Came to a meeting, liked it, and submitted his resume. So the second one is a carryover from last month because we actually wrote the resolution to amend the East Hampton Building Department fees, and this is to add fines for stop work orders and work without a permit. But when Elena and I were just working on it, she felt like it actually had to be in the code before we could set the fees. So my building inspector, Kevin, he went and looked at a couple of the different codes, and we like the city of Schenectady is the best. So what we'll probably have to do on this one is
Call for a public hearing.
yeah, introduce the local law and call for a public hearing. And if we finish before Elena gets here, then we'll just give her I can just give her like a summary, but yeah, so I think the fees nobody objected to is $250 for a stop work order and $500 for nope, the other way around. $250 for a work without a permit and $500 for a stop work order. And then the second one is also our third one, a resolution to accept a land donation at the corner of Catherine's Woods and River Road. This is also a carryover from last month.
We didn't do that last month.
No, because she just wanted the yeah, and I believe I've got emails from everyone and all as well now, but we just need to double check with Elena. But yeah, that's the donation of the parcel of the corner of River Woods and River Road. That one's also written, so you know. Some of these will go pretty fast. D is a resolution calling for a public hearing for a special use permit at 3900 State Street, 25 and 17 South Fagan Ave. This is the one we've been talking about for a while.
Kia.
It is Kia. I can bring it up really quickly for us. The CAC reviewed it on Wednesday and felt that it was so out of character with the neighborhood, and it had so much potential with the precedent for taking down the single family homes and allowing the commercial encroachment, that they are recommending that the town board do a positive declaration and explore the environmental impacts more with seeker. And the planning board has obviously not voted yet because they're going to be voting on Monday. But the planning board's resolution is prepared as a recommendation, as a positive recommendation to the town board to grant the special use permit with conditions. So you guys have a little bit conflicting recommendations from the board. I think the CAC definitely noted and appreciated that they were keeping one more home, but they still felt like it was too much. And one of their main issues was, like right now, the argument is the single family home is directly adjacent to the commercial. It's already devalued, so let's just take it down and put a parking lot up. But they're saying when you do that, now you've got 5 new homes that are now directly commercial to the parking lot, and they're worried that once you put the parking lot there, then the next step would be, oh well, now you have 5 more homes, and then those ones go. And if you start here, they're afraid that it may really impact the whole neighborhood over time. And this is one of the most affordable neighborhoods we have. So that was their main concern. That is the plan that is probably going to come to you guys. They did try and push the parking more towards State Street with the double stack parking to get more rows. The building addition is over here adding like 7 days or something like that. Screening, sidewalks. Everybody's in favor of the sidewalks. No opposing of that. Good street trees. If you guys remember, they'd also be upgrading the facade of the Kia dealership to make it look a lot more like you're kind of used to seeing car dealerships look. So, yeah, they don't really have.
They didn't.
No.
Okay, that's not.
And then, yeah, so I don't know that the board even has to necessarily know where they want to go when they're calling for a public hearing.
Right.
And since, we don't have very many people in the room today, maybe you guys can kind of just ping things off of each other. I can send you the whole document and all the recommendations.
Yeah, I think maybe send that in a separate email so that it stands out and the other materials. That way everyone knows to kind of take a look, ask questions. That way they at least have some time and up until the public hearing to know what's what.
Yeah, I get very torn because on the one hand, I think the improvements to State Street will be very good. The sidewalks, the plantings and everything, that's gonna look very nice. But then, you
other
do
side of it,
have
yeah.
the CAC that I feel like it does have a legitimate concern with the single family home and the encroachment of the commercial. So, I know I'm glad I'm not voting on this one. To you guys.
Thanks, Laura.
Okay, so I'll send all of that in a separate email to the town board. Maybe because we won't have the planning board's recommendation until Monday, so I'll probably have to forward it all to them on Tuesday. It may not have-
That'll just be the call.
Yeah, and then we can just talk, yeah, and then if anybody has questions, we can talk about it at the time meeting. E is a resolution adopting the natural resources inventory phase 2. This is tentative. Ashok is coming to meet with you and I in 40 minutes. And he wanted to do a second presentation more focused on the recommendations that came out of this one, rather than an overarching, why did we do the natural resources inventory?
Okay.
So I'm not sure what his timeline is for that presentation. We can ask him
He
today.
wants to do it at the end of the month.
Well, I think he'd be fine doing it at the end of the month. But I thought we had said that we like doing presentations at the finance and committee meetings rather than the end of the month would actually be better timing wise, but we can decide. And then it's like 240 pages. He's really been combing through the first 90, I think he said, and we assigned chunks of the remaining pages just to make sure that there's no grammar errors and that the page numbers all align and that it's all fine. So we're just picking at it with a fine tooth comb, but it's almost ready. So that's why I put in parentheses tentative. It'll just depend on when he's happy with all of the cross references and the, where the one references a page in a different part of the document.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's changed enough that those you have to check every single one of them.
Yeah, adding a sentence could knock it to the next page and then
And then it
everything
cascades.
else is now off.
Mhm.
I'm thinking, we're doing a special meeting for a couple of reasons on Tuesday, so let me talk to Elena, because I'm thinking maybe she might prefer to do a presentation, just so that we're not like bulking
Mhm.
up too much.
Another thing is he could do the presentation on the finance meeting in August too.
True,
So
we can talk to him today.
we
see
can
what
talk
he
to him.
thinks.
I think he could be ready by Tuesday, but I can't speak for him, so. And then F, I just have to double check that it may require the resolution to submit a grant for climate smart communities. Also meeting with Ashok on this in a little bit. The new round came out. We can potentially submit sidewalks again, or we could potentially look at implementing one of the recommendations from the natural resources inventory. If it needs a resolution or if the town board wants a resolution for submittal, that's why I put the question mark. We can just decide on that.
Yeah, I think I can't remember what the.
It goes back and forth. We used to do resolutions for submittal and then we said, no, that's silly because, you know,
think
it's
we
not harmful to
decided-
submit.
No, not at all, but I think we're doing it as a method of tracking, like grants that we submitted on a certain date and then maybe, accepted or
But
whatever.
sometimes you actually can't submit a grant without a resolution from the town board authorizing the submittal of the grant.
So it's pretty good practice just to do it.
Yeah, so I put that on there. I used to do it all the time. Then they said we're not doing that anymore, but then it seemed like maybe we're going back to it.
Well,
I'm happy to do it
It
anyway.
can't hurt.
And then with the planning for the money part, but
Mhm.
not for this one specifically, but just
No.
for grants in general.
This one specifically, because this is the one I think that is harder for us because it's a 50-50. So we
Okay,
have to
that's good
put
to
more
know.
grant money to this one if we decide we want to submit.
It's a 50-50 match. for this
Yeah,
one.
that's the one. We already
Do you know
have,
what the dollar amount is?
the range is like 50,000 to 3 million or something like that.
And I think the plan was for us to go through some things that were recommended in the NRI
Yeah.
and maybe,
Yeah,
Pull
see
out
if we,
something.
either that or we could resubmit the sidewalks, but
so we won't know what.
We won't know. Yeah.
That's good to know those certain range, I guess.
yeah, and I thought there might be another grant that we wanted to go for quickly. Oh, I know what it was.
A few years ago.
Huh?
Did we apply for this one? Like,
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
That's the one we had to move the money in
Got it,
this
okay.
year.
it seems
Different
familiar,
grant,
but
same name.
okay, awesome. Thank you.
That's right.
We did submit the sidewalks, but we weren't awarded the sidewalks
Oh,
under this grant.
That's
But we actually, before the sidewalks, submitted the greenhouse gas inventories. Which we've been working on. It's farther down, but we just finished the community.
sorry, the name was really cool.
One that this would be the third one. NYSERDA has kind of a block grant to help with energy efficiency of buildings. They reached out to us because they feel like we're very good at closing out grants and doing good things. So they offered it. It's somewhere between 600,000 and million.
Did you
And
have projects in mind for that?
then I asked Charlie and he said we definitely could use it. So he was gonna give me some ideas.
Will that
Working
work
today? Oh, yeah. So I'll probably harass him today.
okay.
It's like building envelopes, energy audits, energy upgrades, like we used one to redo the boiler downstairs. To make it more energy efficient.
Do you think that the street lighting on Route 7 qualify? Because we spend about $40,000 per
It might be specific to building though. The other thing I was thinking is
That's what I'm wondering.
if we need a new HVAC.
I think the thought was that we did, but the guys that came in and fixed it
So
said
we
that
didn't.
we can get another 5 years or so out of it. No, well, that's not what Ray told me, so I don't know.
Well, oh, hey, Rita.
Oh, hello. I'm sorry for being late. I had technical difficulties.
Okay. Yeah, so the turnaround time on that grant is actually the 15th of July. They reached out to us and they said, we know it's short timing, we're reaching out to you because you're good at short timing.
Like next week. Okay,
It's
so
next
we-
Friday.
All right, so we should talk like today about that.
That one, because it's the 15th, might have to be actually a retroactive resolution, but if it's a block grant, it's usually like we give you the money and you spend it, which is nice. That's what NYSERDA does.
Right.
Yeah, it's quite nice.
And they usually
We're just not gonna buy from Home Depot.
Next Tuesday.
It's next Tuesday? It's not next Friday?
It's fine, it's the 19th.
Oh,
Eighteenth is Tuesday.
Yeah, it's the middle of
All
the
right.
week.
I'm trying to decide. I'll get some
Today.
ideas for it
Yeah.
today.
Okay. Okay, so actually for your Mr. McKinney discussion,
I'm
I,
Norfolk John.
well, okay, good, but here's what I'll tell you. We have a couple of outstanding parks grants that I think we have some funds that we'll be able to use for projects that Parks was gonna use some of their maintenance funds for, so we might be able to use those lines to get bench, plaque, whatever, all of that covered.
Okay.
We just have to kind of figure out, I think Ray was gonna get some pricing on a couple different types of things.
Okay. I did actually talk to some of Jim McKinney's friends when he came to the town board resolution, and they shared with me that he shared with his family sitting at Lions Park, and he did lose a family member, and it was a place that they would go together and sit on benches together. And so his friends and family really felt like a bench would not be like, oh, you're just sitting a bench. Like it would be something
Something, yeah.
really nice.
Just gonna figure out something like. Shit's over there.
Oh yeah. You know what? To yesterday when I was dropping Lily's dad off at the airport, the crossing in Colony,
Yeah.
they have a lot of benches. It's still okay, actually.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think like spatially where. it would
They
look
were all
good.
donated benches. And I mean, they even
know.
have 4 of them like all around. Like sometimes they'll even just do like 4.
I think there are 2 benches that are away from the memorial benches that are old.
Yeah, so like
Your
you could
space
replace them.
there too.
They're
Okay,
also like track benches. They're really nice.
that's what I think we wanted to get, so that was gonna last.
Oh yeah, they're impressive. I would recommend looking at their benches. They look like ours with the plaques and stuff, but they're just a little bit beefier because they're
Sturdier.
track.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, so I'll wrap that into the project of him, and he's looking at. Some of that fencing needs to be replaced, it's like 4 years old. I mean, it's just like that post and beam stuff, but it makes it look a little ragged, so it'd be nice to do it all at once, like that.
But I thought you guys did a good job on that resolution. He's very thankful. I don't think he's like, where's my,
Oh,
So when
no,
we get something ready, I think he'll really like to go see it. And
good.
yeah, he'll be fine. Okay, David did say that he couldn't make the meeting today. Dart also has his son in town, is moving to Denver, so family always first.
Well, this is probably one of the hottest topics, is the key of things for planning board anyway, right?
Yeah.
So, how much public comment have you had at the meetings on it?
This go round, we actually only heard from the one neighbor who comes the most, who's probably legitimately very affected by this proposal.
Yeah,
Who doesn't like the lighting, who doesn't like the loudspeakers. She says that they press the button and to find the cars in the lot because they're hard to find. So the guy is trying to make the button that makes the car beep.
Yeah.
that would absolutely drive me
It does find them though, I will say, it's almost lost.
Um,
Tell them that.
Oh my God, I would not fix that.
So the guy who runs he says they can try and just keep a better inventory of them and where they are. We haven't discussed it yet, but one we might have, is that they can't expand. Oh, John's here. Oh, we should vote on the minutes now. We should.
Yeah, there's 3 sets, right?
People managing.
Hey, John. Oh, second.
Is he allowed to vote in that window? Like, rules expire?
Oh, like the majority have to be in the room.
No, I think anyone voting this can. We want to do it and then we can ask her if it's legitimate, and if it's not, we
We could do it again. Maybe we should, because otherwise our packets are gonna have a lot.
That's fine.
Hey, John.
Well, what time is it? Show me. I think she has,
Well, we can do them at the end of the meeting if she makes it.
why don't we do that?
Yeah, okay. All right, sorry. So I'll just, David DiArpino, planning board report, the planning board is working on the recommendation for 3900 State Street at the Monday meeting. They did get the applicant to make 33 South Fagan Ave compliant with the zoning code. So it no longer needs to go to the zoning board, so that's always a plus. So because it no longer needs any kind of code variance, they're taking action on a potential approval of the lot line adjustment for 3900 State Street. They're also looking at the use variance for Mise en Beak Bakery, which would be taking over the Stewart's on Council Road. We'll see which I think generally speaking has a lot of people who are excited about the bakery.
Yeah.
It's just that use variance is very, very tough. So we'll see how that goes. The planning board will be doing their recommendation on Monday. The CAC did kind of note that they, when you're looking at retail going to a bakery, they generally would consider that to be less intense because Stewart sold things like milk and eggs and lottery tickets and
Yeah, lots of.
like a lot of more like diverse customers would be coming in for different things, where a bakery is only going to be
Food.
food. So they did it was going from higher intensity use to lower intensity use, which is good when
Health
you
reduced.
exactly. So
Great, yeah.
they put that into the planning board. We'll see. And then the other use variance that the planning board is looking at is on Union Street. I think we looked at this last time, that they want to took down that building and they just want to put a parking lot there. I think the planning board wanted to see if they could make it more of like a park with a little bit of extra planning. The plans came back and they're not very different. The CAC felt it like it was unacceptable for a neighborhood commercial lot, which were pretty scarce on, to just become a parking lot to serve a bank in the city of Schenectady. So they were very opposed to it. Also for the precedence of taking down commercial buildings and putting up a parking lot.
Yeah.
Been singing a Joni Mitchell song a lot just because it gets stuck in. It's like a lot of parking lot right now. And then a nail salon is going in where the old Sweet Frog was in Mohawk Commons. Yeah. And then
Really awesome.
Mouse.
Yeah, they just got.
Like that Sweet Frog. I haven't closed. I know it was nice. I thought it was nice. Also, there's a property along Rosendale Road that is adjacent to the Lechical Nature Preserve, and they're doing a lot line adjustment with the Nature Conservancy to give the back of their land to the Nature Conservancy. So it's quite a bit of land too. It's like maybe I want to say, and I think it's like 5 acres that they'd be giving to that they would be giving to the Lechical Preserve. Yeah, so they're working through that one. I think there's one more on there, but I can't remember. Oh, hey, John. He's on a cruise, definitely.
Sorry, that's not fair.
So, yeah, so busy on the planning board and more to come on that. Conception. For zoning board, we have 6 cases. We're doing the follow-up to the commercial code interpretation. Just so that this board knows, the zoning board called a special meeting in the end of June 21st, I think, to just hear the commercial code interpretation on Harry's Mobile 2339 Choice County Road. The room was packed, but the code interpretation really doesn't allow for public comment. So their attorney did their case. Rob Hess was our outside counsel. He did our case. It was a lot. I think we were there for 2 hours maybe on a single case. And so they said, okay, we're going to think about this. We're going to like reread all our packet. And we've heard the public testimony from the attorneys. And then they're going to deliberate and possibly take action in July. And then there's 4 kind of semi-regular area variances. And then the one use variance that is going in time as the Mizan Bakery will be at the zoning board. For the grants update, the Climate Smart Communities grant, they did finish their community greenhouse gas inventory draft. Got presented to the CAC on this last Wednesday. I mentioned this to Aaron. I feel like we should make a big deal out of it. We may be the lowest percent energy for government that he's seen for any community. So normal communities, the percent of greenhouse gas emitted for their government is about 2%, and we are 1%, or even a little bit less than 1%. And yeah, so he really highlighted that we're doing well. He has a slide that he was so impressed by it. He made it a special part of his presentation. So we are doing very good, even if it sometimes feels like, and he's got a bunch of things in that document. We'll make sure that it's all good and ready to go. And then that'll go to the town board probably next month. And then we also talked, we might submit another Climate Smart Communities grant.
Okay, so that one,
This
We're
was the
getting-
current one we have,
This is the current one we have.
which is different than the one that we have to apply for a new one.
Right.
yeah,
Well, we met,
the greenhouse gas report though, and that's not gonna go.
No.
We accept it.
yeah, we
Okay,
do
so
have
that
to
was,
accept
that's
it.
what will go on for August.
Yeah, well,
I'd love to see it now, because I know I will, in August, I'll be like hammering through. So now it's like a nice 2 months to look at it.
Is there a possibility for acceptance at the end of July?
I mean, we may as well, and then if we have to push it, I'm just thinking,
I think it, I
it'd
think it'd
be
be
nice
ready.
to have some time to really.
Okay, so resolution to accept the community greenhouse gas inventory.
Should be a quick resolution.
It's super
right,
quick.
anyway.
Yeah, it's only like 5 pages maybe.
And did he have the slides that he showed you? Did
Yeah,
he
we can bring the
include them?
slide.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool. I'm excited for that.
another thing he noted that's different about Niskuna is we have a lot more industrial emissions, but that kind of makes sense because we have capital and GE.
Yes.
But he said that's not a bad thing. Like, you know, they're not, like, they're out there building technology to suck, you know, greenhouse gases out of the atmosphere and everything. So like, they're not like naming bad names or anything. It's just an unusual, like, makeup of greenhouse gas emissions. Yeah. Yeah, okay, and Mohawk River Watersheds grant, I got a 2-month extension just to close that one out. But it is ready to be closed out and we'll do the, and that's it then. And then the linkage study grant, the Capital Region Transportation Council, consultant Labella put together all the public comment. The Complete Streets, I think I mentioned last time, went door to door with flyers and stuff to get comments, walk the streets. So yeah, we went from 80 comments to like 350 or something. So it was good. And they've summarized the comments and that'll help drive some concept development. And we're meeting with the state today also on some of this stuff. So we're moving along on the study and hopefully maybe even getting some re-implementation or some kind of way to help. So that'll be fun to get going. Complete Streets is still working on the sidewalk projects. I've called Palmer closed. And then but still don't have the final engineering on Birchwood or Cornelius, but they're awfully close. And if we did want to submit them for the grant, I'm sure that they can pull them together. We need it too. And then they also, like I said, they're the ones that really work the hardest on the linkage study and have been out in the field on making sure that everybody's paying attention. So I appreciate that. That's all their in-kind hours. The Tree Council launched the summer photo contest. And I'm probably going to try and make a flyer that we can post around too. And I have another post about who the Tree Council is and what they do that we might be able to post early next week. And then we can.
Oh, I want to make sure that gets into the, when is the deadline for the photo?
Oh, it's September.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to be running it all summer.
All right, so we'll put it in the newsletter.
Yeah, we could definitely, yeah. And then the thing that they want to do is this is the last season and the winter photos are hanging in the hallway. They're very pretty. And they want to make a calendar that people could buy of all the tree pictures.
I'm gonna say we should do it by season, like all the way
We
around up
could do
here.
that
That'd be
too. Yeah. They're really excited. So the launch of it was pretty quiet, but we can ramp it up over the summer and then in the fall we can work on making a calendar. in time for Christmas.
There you go.
So they've been very helpful with the planning board projects lately. There's been a lot of them going to tree council. And they've been passing around the street tree master plan. It got resurrected again. And their next steps, I think, would be to share it with you and Ray and go through it and make sure everybody's happy with it. And then potentially bring it to the town board. Conservation Advisory Council, Climate Smart Communities Task Force had that presentation. I have been working on the Climate Smart Communities certification submittal, which is due today. So after I finish all my meetings this morning, I have to close my door. It's mostly done, but I have to finish it today.
You need to get laminated signs that say like, do not enter snakes. Just kidding. But I'm really good.
Yeah, I think I can get it done. I'm gonna try really hard. This is the last submittal for this year, and we have enough points to be certified if I can get them in there, so I just have to submit them all. It's just a timely thing. You have to do something for each thing you submit, so. And then I went through their recommendation to the town board on 3900 State Street earlier. I put that in because I wanted to make sure that it was known. The town board is the highest authority on 3900 State Street, because they have the authority for the special use permit. So they're the ones that are really gonna decide on the seeker. So, comprehensive plan committee, just, working away on the chapters, but the main thing is that we're probably gonna have to have a couple chapters done by the meeting this week. It's actually 2 weeks from now, in order to get it to the town board and the planning board for October. So we're sort of hitting our,
If those drafts are out there and not like 100% out, like done, maybe we could just even circulate them now and then do a version now and then whatever's been updated.
yeah,
That way it's like, if we have to quick turn it around, we'll at least know that we've
Yeah.
went through. I mean, I'm more familiar with it,
yeah,
so I'm not as nervous, so.
yeah.
We could
But
also.
I like to get it out to the public early too.
Yeah.
Yeah, too.
I
Yeah.
mean, is that?
But I mean, our
Like
goal
three
is,
of them
I
done,
mean,
right?
our goal is literally to adopt it, that meeting in December.
It's gonna happen.
So if we
We're
get it
gonna
to
do
you
it.
in
We're
October,
gonna do
that
it.
still gives quite a bit of time for public comments of December. Yeah.
Agree. So, but we're like still, I was nervous about the October date. Like, we don't have to have, does it have to be the 100% drafts finished
No,
by that date?
I think
Okay,
it'll have
good.
to be really, like, at least the chapters there, but we can still be working on
Perfect.
smaller things.
Okay.
Yeah. Because that way it gives the public some kind of things to say, okay, you haven't really decided on this. Well, I have an opinion. I like it to be a people document.
Yes, I agree.
Building department enforcement, short-term rental code adoption, has been going, I think, relatively well. 3 permits were issued. 2 big notice and orders are out there, I think, for people who haven't been responding to us. I did get a comment from a resident, and I think it's a good one. Since we adopted the code, a new home went on, in Old Niskayuna. It had never been a short-term rental before. So that was a knock on the door. Hello, here's your thing. They, didn't realize or bought the home thinking that they could just rent it forever or whatever. So the resident that's been calling me said she thinks it would be good to do a push out or a notice like to everyone that says, here's our short-term rental
I thought you could
code.
put it in to Airbnb as sort of if
We-
this is the address,
is.
then it shows, so they should, well, okay, unless they're
Well,
listing them in a
Airbnb said they
weird.
were gonna do that,
I think they do that, but I'm wondering if they post it elsewhere.
or this
and
was
then-
right on the border of cities connected. I wonder if they don't know.
Actually, that's a good point, because a lot of the homes.
It
on the
might have
outskirts-
a 1, 2, 3, 0, 4.
And that's confusing. So, okay. I don't think it's a bad idea for us to put some guidance out there that's sort of loud.
Yeah, like just a flyer or something.
See if maybe coordinate, if we have the content, maybe she could just format it into something we can post on the.
Yeah, it would just be
website.
like thinking about a short-term rental.
I like that.
I don't know.
In this direction. Good Lord. Okay, so maybe let's coordinate with Courtney and we'll see if we can get up.
We wouldn't really like that. We would say, here's the
No,
rules.
okay. Bet you there's some out there that we could probably use some format from that and not reinvent the wheel.
And then the fire inspections have been going well. Although not surprisingly, I guess, but it's still surprising me, not that many people have really been responding to the fire inspection letters. So I think, hey Kevin, we sent out like, um, 20, and I think we got like 5. So it's a pretty low response rate. We're doing one more nice letter because it's a new project, and then we'll do notice and orders in another week or 2.
Okay,
Um,
maybe it'll just take a little bit.
might just take a
Everybody
little bit, yeah.
Get in the group.
The ones that he did do went very well.
Good.
I think McDonald's and Stewart's were like right on it.
That's good. That's good though. They're large businesses. So
Yeah,
it's good they took it
It's
seriously.
probably because they're used to doing it in other communities, so it wasn't hard for them. Whereas like some of the ones that only exist in Niskayuna, that might, it
Yeah,
might
they
be
might
harder
be
for
harder
them
to
to manage.
pull.
Exactly.
Just a-
And then planning, Clark has been working really hard with, Matt, who joined us. On, water and sewer drainage study. I wasn't able to attend your meeting. Do you think that that'll be ready for July?
I believe so. I think they have to meet one more time, just to finalize their recommendation.
Okay. That would be like the group that reviewed the RFP.
Yes,
Okay. I'll try and coordinate that for you, Matt, because I know you're trying to stay an arm's length away from that one.
I
So,
appreciate that. Thank you.
okay. Um, John and I were working on the Council Road sidewalk. I sent him the documents, so we'll just keep trying to get out there and talk to the guy. I don't have any movement on the Winnie Road easement, but I'll keep trying. Doc, did you have anything you want to say about Metroplex?
Actually, there have been no new projects or for Niskayuna. I would like to say that also that the Metroplex is not meeting in August, so we won't
Okay.
meet again until September. But I want to arc back to the issue of the space on Union Street that's been possibly proposed as a parking lot.
Yeah,
I'm only bringing this up now because it seems to me that that might be something that the Metroplex might be able to assist with, only because of the fact that we're good at identifying uses for spaces, and I kind of in my gut I don't really like the idea of a parking lot there. I think-
yeah, that,
I don't. I think that maybe we can find a better use for that. It's something that will continue to upgrade and uphold the atmosphere of Union Street. Union Street is one of the more special streets in Niskayuna. It has a very classic feel to it, and I think we should do everything in our power to maintain that feel. So I could
Yeah.
I could talk. If you could send me more information on that, I could at least talk with Ray about it and see what we could do.
that would be great. I am in agreement with you. A parking lot there is firstly not allowed by zoning, but secondly, not the highest and best use of that property. There was a building there. And like, to the CAC's point, I mean, we really don't have that many commercial lots in Niskayuna, so to lose one, just to support,
It's a great idea,
Yeah.
Doc.
if there's
Right.
anything Metroplex could do to help, maybe it would ease the pain for the bank, but then we could get a new business in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Let me. I'll reach out to Ray today. Send me the particulars on that, Laura, and I'll reach out to Ray. And even though once again, we're not going to meet in August, but that doesn't mean that work won't be getting done. So let's look at that, because like I said, I think it would be a tragedy for that to be a parking lot.
I
I
think
tend
that-
to, I tend to agree with you, Doc. That's a good suggestion, and I think Ray may have some good, possible uses for it. Much better than a parking lot anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. And Ray is, again, you guys know how much I feel about Ray's leadership. I think he's great. And I think he can certainly come up with something. We can come up with something. But a parking lot, that's the last resort.
Agreed. Thank you, Doc. I'll send it right away.
Appreciate that.
For legal, Elena has been working pretty hard with Rob on the code interpretation case. She's been helping us with the new notice and orders for the fire inspections and some other things that we've been having to deal with. And she was also helping me with the zoning board meeting on some language that we don't normally have to use. So we've been taking some of her time, and we appreciate her support of our department. I don't think we have any cases pending that I know of right now, though, in the court. So, and then Rita, do you want to give us your historic report? You're muted.
Oh yes. The historical commission, and I've been working independently on finding connections and resources, okay, for the town, because a lot of the work that has to get done is also in the town, as far as like private ownerships and such. And one of the things that we've been working on is collaboration with the Niskayuna Reformed Church. Okay, because they have a large repository of historical documents and artifacts, and a lot of Niskayuna's history is really in that repository. And another thing is, they also have the graveyard, which is actually used by universities, academics to study the history here. So they have collaborated in the past with the town, and they would like to renew that collaboration, and what we've been doing is, I met with them. We went through tours and such, and access to archives and whatnot. We did that for a few hours, and then there's a certified state historian. He's not the state historian, but he's a certified state historian, Scott Harsden, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Well, he was a guest speaker at our last meeting, and he gave like a good seminar on the history and how the church actually grew and developed as far as a society, the people of Niskayuna, through the church, the Dutch people to the church. Okay, so I also spoke to the pastor. Okay, some of the projects that they're working on this year are one of them is the 275th anniversary of the founding of the church, of that building being there. And this was actually the first church in Niskayuna. And another thing is the byway. They were interested in the byway. And they would, what rightly so, what they were saying was that the church was always advocated for the people. So there should be some history that connects them with the whole Underground Railroad situation, Charles Now. All right, so that's something that we've been looking into, and that we'll be continuing to look into, using their archives, because they really, the bulk of information for universities to use them. Okay, we should have that connection with them. Okay, that's okay. So that's for that. But we're all in agreement between the History and Archivist Committee there and the Historic Preservation Commission, that we really, can work together and collaborate to really, work towards the historic preservation of Niskayuna.
That's great.
Yeah, no, this was big. but it took us from since March to get everything coordinated all across, meetings and whatnot. So this worked out well. Okay, well, we had the demolition permits for the commission, and that was for 845 Oregon Avenue. But what I wanted to highlight about this was we found, and I before I say this, I really wish that Dart and Dave were here, because something came out of that research that may contribute to the safer homes. Okay, while during our investigation, we came upon there's an emblem that sits on the front of the garage. Now, the garage itself there's nothing historic about that, but those emblems were brought over from Dutch culture. And this one we after we investigated it was love and freedom. That's what that one meant. And then there's other ones, warding off evil, all kinds of things. But this is more like in their, cultural, religious type thing. One of the things also is that we can relate that to the Schaefer homes, because the biggest question for us was, why would they build these homes, okay, at a time when, yes, it was going into mid-century, okay, and the big windows and such. But when there was something also happening culturally. There was the re-representation and solidification of Holland, of the history of the Dutch. And this was going on in Holland. This was going on, in Amsterdam. You had all your famous artists that came out of that, like even Van Gogh. So the Dutch masters, okay, they called it the Holland Mania. And it began in 1890. And some have the ending as 1920, some go 1940. But if you remember, and even today, I know the older people remember Dutch Masters cigars. And these are all the things that came out of this mania, everything. I mean, people were buying the wooden shoes, and all this, but they you don't realize all this was coming over from Holland, because they wanted to, because they had such a large immigration program there, that their culture was like disappearing in the midst of all of this. So they decided, like in the 1880s, that they would gather all their art, everything, and this is what their push there drove the push here. So 1925 is around 1930 was when that house was built, that property was built, and that emblem sits right out there. So this was fun. But anyway, no,
Rita, you should write that
Yeah,
up
you
so we
should-
can put it in the newsletter.
definitely this is the article. I mean, it was, let me tell you, and having Carol McCarthy, because we bounced things off each other all week long. And when I said, could you please look at, because I was looking into the emblems, but this whole thing, the Holland Mania, popped out of this whole investigation.
It's mania.
No, this was, see, that's the fun of historians. You have all this, but no, I mean, I had a good person in my corner, you know what I'm saying? And she was rabid for it, and so was I. And it was, but this is all came out. And so I got to give Carol a high five and a pat on the back, because she's awesome. But yeah,
I love that
yes.
too.
Huh?
I love that.
Yeah, it was amazing. This was really a energy charged week for us. All right. Okay. So, and here's another thing that came out of our meeting with Scott. Okay, at the preservation meeting, because Scott also helped with the move of the trolley shed when it was donated. See? So what happened was Scott said that it wasn't in good shape, and he and others, they rehabbed it, took it to the Maybe farm. Okay, and after that, it just went. Okay,
That's
but
the highway. That's the one that's at our highway, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the one
Yeah.
at a highway. Okay, because what we've been doing also is finding out what's viable and what isn't,
Mhm.
and things that may not seem viable right now, later on, but at least we have an accounting of everything.
Mhm.
You see, so if at a period when things are, able to be accomplished, you know what your targets are. So that helps a lot. Let's see. We know the Grange. We covered that. Well, pretty much the police department's 100th anniversary, we're still working on that. Okay, and the comprehensive plan, we're also making headway on that because the grant plot, okay, that research is there already for the grant plot. So that has to, this that area over in the first actually suburban start of suburban Niskayuna. Okay, and mostly everything that's on this list here, there's pieces of it already accomplished. So we're working on that World War II period. And I thank you very much. We've been working hard, but it's been enjoyable. So
Today, you're reminding me, I had a conversation with Sam from Phil Stack's office yesterday. I'm going to connect you guys via email. He's looking for information on businesses that are older than 50 years in Niskayuna. I think that they're doing some kind of project with it for the 110th Assembly District. So I'll connect you guys. The only one we could think of immediately in the conversation was Feldhausen's, and I think beyond that I was struggling, like trying to make sure. I think they're doing
Oh,
for smaller
smaller ones.
businesses, yeah. But I'll connect you guys, and I'm actually really curious, so keep me in the email thread.
Okay then. Oh, I wanted to add something also. Schenectady Big Beautiful High School, they contacted me about an internship for their students because they have at a certain point in their classes or grades, they have interns, and they send them out to whatever their interests are. So that's something that they would want to add to the historic, because they were saying that they would like to add a historic commission to that, to that part of their programming.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it is. And that's not the first time that there's a student, okay, that asked for an summer internship, but she was more interested in the history. Yeah, so what she's working with us now over the summer as a volunteer.
Okay.
Aisha Asga, yes, and that position, the internships that they're talking about for the school are free internships, unpaid. So the town wouldn't have to accrue any kind of, debt or whatever for that internship.
That sounds good.
Yeah,
I like that.
right.
That-
That way. Listen, I'm looking for free.
Karina, just constantly.
But they're talking about history, but there may be other interests, students interested in other, occupations or whatever.
I think we've tried to do some of that in the past, and the trick is finding a student that fits the criteria so well that they kind of blend in with the department at the time of the year that they're there. Because it's sort of, some of the departments have like different things going on different times of the year. But I love this idea just because I really like having more connection to the academic community, and even just the high school, like
Yes.
I love this idea. I'm glad that you brought it up, and I know that it's in my email inbox, and I will get to it, but I have like 700 other emails.
Yes, you are.
We got to. Don't worry about that. We got that part. Okay, because they said when I got the email, I just want to let you know about it, but I wanted to find out exactly where you stood as far as the internships, and being that it is free and it's an opportunity to link the schools with, with the community. Yeah.
You said it was the high school, right?
It's not the Schenectady High School. It's another, I guess it's a private high school or a magnet. It's Schenectady Big Beautiful High School.
So I would just, if we want to try to go for the public high schools, I believe the program is called CEIP. And there is some documentation that we have to create for the school to sort of make sure that we have a supervisor and somebody who can check the boxes and make sure that we're adding the content that, you know, the educational content that makes sense for the student. I don't think it's a huge heavy lift of a project, but it's just sort of like paperwork you have to have in advance so that the internship coordinator knows, okay, here's what the experience would look like. And I think that they usually match the kids in like September or October. So we have some time to do that. So we could reach out to Niskayuna and Schenectady.
Yes, yes, because Niskayuna has been slow to respond or not respond to, you know, to a lot of our inquiries. But I mean, but it helps the school. So, you know, you just keep sending them, and maybe someone, I send it out to a broad, you know, spectrum of people within the school system. So at least someone might take a look at it and say, you know, maybe I want to do this, you know, and it'll catch, you know, you do
Yeah.
that.
Maybe we can find you a contact in the social studies department, and they could kind of branch you off from there, start with history and get people really excited about history, and so then we'll go from there.
Yeah, especially when you have all these different programs. Like I'm looking into the clothing of the time, you know, of the revolution, because now everything is about the American Revolution. But it seems like, you know, we're slow to catch on. But I mean, they're having the reenactments, they're having plays at different places, all these different programs are coming forward, you know, but you know, we need to catch up.
We do. We do need to.
Well-
I don't mean to rush things along, but we've got another meeting we've got back to back this morning. So we were hopefully going to vote on, since we have John on, we're going to try to vote on the minutes. I don't know if it will be valid. I have to check with Elena because I thought she had mentioned something about COVID regulations expiring for voting virtually. So we'll just do it. And if it works, awesome. And then if it doesn't, we can just revisit it next meeting. So John, do you want to make a motion? You want me to?
You can make it, Aaron. That'd be fine.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the April 4th, 2025 Economic Development, Historic Preservation and Environmental Conservation Committee minutes. Second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? All right, and I'll make a motion for the May 2nd, 2025 minutes.
Second.
Well, there we go.
Okay, John second, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, and a motion for the June 6th, 2025 minutes
Second.
and discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, any opposed? Fabulous. So we will see if that worked. I'll make a motion to close the July 11th, 2025 meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next
Aye.
committee meeting is going to be August 1st, 2025. That's a regular Friday morning. So August we'll get back on track. All right. Thanks, everybody.